Bienvenidos a este nuevo vídeo de Devir TV. Hoy estamos en un sitio un poco diferente, en un hotel delante de la feria de Essen, Spiel. Y tengo conmigo a la leyenda Reiner Knizia. Reiner Knizia, welcome to Devir TV.
Thank you.
I'm super excited to have you here, to have a little chat with you about the new games from you that we are going to release on 2023 probably, or end of 22. But we have released a lot of games from you and they were successful and I really love them. So thanks for everything you've done because it has been very important for a lot of people.
Well, thank you for bringing my games to your markets.
Yeah.
And of course it makes me most happy if lots of people play the games and enjoy the games. Yes.
Yeah, they really enjoy. We've published Lord of the Rings, the new edition anniversary. Was a very beautiful one. We've done Lost Cities, we've done Kelties, a lot of games, a lot of history there. But today we're gonna talk more about the new things that are coming. A lot of people is expecting Mille Fiori. That was a big surprise last Essen. We are a bit sad that we don't have it in Spanish yet, but it's coming. And what can you tell us about this game, how you design it?
I'm always looking for something innovative and new to start a game. And what fascinated me was the possibility to work with transparent icons, transparent pieces, so that you have a board and you can mark what you own, but you still see what is on the board. Yes. And I also wanted to give us a rich choice, so I experimented with a drafting mechanism. Yes. But a drafting mechanism that gives you many different options, so it spoils you for choice what to do. And that was the starting point for the idea. And then it is just a lot of thinking, testing, discussing until you have the finished game. Yes.
Cool. The game that doesn't know Mille Fiori, how you would describe it?
Well, Mille Fiori is the 1000 colors, which is a special technique the people in Italy developed to make this wonderful glass. And that's what the game is about, and therefore the transparent glass. It's not glass, but it's the transparent pieces we're using. And essentially we see the city and we also see a river taking us out of the city. And we are producing the glass and we are shipping the glass, but we have also got parts of the city which are more politically driven or by people driven. And you are trying to do well in all these different areas of life. And the cards you get show you individual areas, and so when you have a drafting system you have lots of cards in your hand and you have to pick one, yes, and the rest I have to give to you, and then we play the one and I can then do something in one of the areas. And of course, as I give my cards to you, I also get the cards from the other player, and then we pick one again, and then we play again. But it's this choice, and also what do I want to give you, or should I rather keep this one, because if you do this, then you will occupy my ship space, and I don't have space in the harbor. So this is the thematic setting, and this is the mechanic behind it, and it just creates a lot of interaction until the ships have left and until the cards are played and the pieces are set, and then the game ends, and there's no much counting at the end because we record the scores as we go. When you place your pieces, you record the scores. If you have the highest score, you win.
Yeah. It seems amazing how a mechanic like drafting could be innovative with things like this, because Mille Fiori it's super fresh.
Well, that's my ambition. It is the ambition, together with the publisher, to create the most perfect product.
But you have done a lot of games in your life. How you still are innovative?
Well, the games are a mirror of our life. And so you need to go through the world with open eyes and see what is relevant for the people, and then I always try to find something new. I want to create innovative games, and so for me game design is not a science. I'm a scientist, but it's not a science where I say I have to go through these 5 steps. If you always take the same steps, you always come out at the same end, and it's nothing new. So I'm trying to find a new entry point, something new, something that excites me, and then I try to build on this. And in the end, I hope I have something which is exciting, which fascinates the people, but also introduces something new, which people haven't seen before. After 700 games, it is a bit of a challenge, but yes, I like challenges.
Yeah, and nowadays, well, when you begin creating games, there was board game industry, but board game industry has grown a lot. A lot of new games are out every year. What do you think about how is board game industry right now on the creative process of the new developers and authors?
Well, our industry, the games industry, is wonderful because I have been working in other industries, in banking and in computer sciences, and people are much more the same in these industries. Whereas here, I always say we are lots of colorful birds in our industry. Not always professional, sometimes a bit mad, but when you look at the designers, each designer has their love for the game, which brings us together. But there are people who come from the graphic side and they say, I just draw a map, I don't know how it will work, but that's how it makes it. Or other people like me come from the mechanism and say, okay, I research the Mille Fiori process and it inspires me how I can make a model of this as a mathematician. And so this is the fascinating variety we get from so many different people who come from so many different cultures and backgrounds. It's a very international industry, of course, and globalization has its advantages and disadvantages with the pandemic, yes, but globalization also says there is a big exchange of different ideas from the different worlds, and so the Euro games went to America and the Americans then discovered that there are other games as well. So this is a general process, and then you are always getting surprised. How can people still invent something new with the card games? So you suddenly have the collectible card games, completely new, and then you have the drafting games, and then you have the deck building games, and so you ask yourself, hasn't everything been done with the game, with the cards? But no, it hasn't. The same question: have all the pieces of fiction been written? Of course not. The stories are always new ones, and so there are always new entry points for the games. It's just picking the right ones and knowing what to do with them.
Yeah, it's an exciting and amazing world for gamers, for authors.
Yeah. And I mean, it is the truth. The games are the winners of the pandemic because lots of people withdrew a little bit from social life and they stayed in the closer family. And so playing is something you do in the closer family, in the closer friendship. And so I think that brought games to a lot of people again. And
they stayed there.
And they stay. And I mean, to say it from a wider perspective, I think today in our world, when people sit around a table and play games and enjoy, it doesn't matter what age, doesn't matter what skin color, doesn't matter which religion. It is a very positive contribution to all the madness that goes on in our world. Let people, as long as if you could force all the people to play, we would have a wonderful world.
Sure, sure. Every day we are more near of this, I think. Okay, Reiner, we are talking about Mille Fiori, but we are going to release other games that I really like your job because you are capable to do super different styles of board games, and we can talk about a super fun and fast and a quick board game like High Score that's only dice. It's of you as well, so that's amazing. How can you tell me about this game?
Yeah. Well, High Score is driven by dice. It's a dice game, and I wanted to do kind of a competition which is each competition very quick, very short, but each one has a different challenge. So it's almost like lots of little mini games within the game. So you put out one challenge, which is just describes you how you roll the dice and how you score the dice. And then you just have one turn each to produce your result. And of course, the first one who do their result will put their marker down and they get 24 points. So I need to make more than 24 points, yes. And so do I risk too much? I might then lose out, or am I fine? And so this was the basic idea, just to have a variety of short competitions. And of course the game lives not from one, but from several competitions. You play one after another, and you have to always adjust to the different methods of what does the dice count, how often can I roll, what do I keep. And then always, if you play later in the round, you see the results and you say, okay, I have a good result, but I'm still last, so I need to change something. Or I'm second, do I now risk it and try to become first, and where do I stand? And so this is this excitement where everybody is actually involved, because I don't want you to overtake me. So I actually say, yes, roll them, you might fail. Yes.
Yeah. When you see people playing it, it's a game that everyone gets very involved. And it's a game that has been a big success in a lot of countries. So
very easy access. You immediately understand what it is, and you can start right away. And each time when you play a new competition, you just look at the new little rules, a few lines, and you're in a new game.
Yeah. And as well, we're gonna release 2 games that we have released, but this is a new version, a roll and write version of the classic Lost Cities and My City. So how was to do those versions in a roll and write game?
Well, we know that roll and write is very fashionable these days, very popular these days. And so the brand of Lost Cities is very close to my heart. It has been on the market for many, many years. And so I don't want to overpopulate a family, but I thought Lost Cities can take another family member. And so I thought, yeah, it's expeditions, it's exploring something that is very suitable for a roll and write game. And so I could essentially see it in front of my eyes. So I closed my eyes, I saw the game, and then just created it. And of course we had to do a lot of fine tuning and play testing, but it's this interactive challenge. You roll the dice, you see everybody doing the expeditions. Which die do I take? This is my die. Yes. And so it is this competition broken down to your little sheet where you run your expeditions and try to be better than the others.
Yeah. It was easy for you to pick this version, or what?
This one was, what is easy? Easy means you need a good starting idea. And I had this good idea, and I was lucky that the development then was relatively straightforward. So I didn't run into any problems. So I kind of had a good feeling from the start with the game. I saw the game. I talked to Cosmos and said, do we want to do that? And they said, yes, they are interested in this. So I developed the game. They were happy with the game. So it was a lucky, very lucky, relatively quick process. It took half a year, and the game was developed from our side. And then, of course, you need the graphics and the production.
Yeah, very good. And also, one of your latest success that we have enjoyed a lot, that it's My City, because you also have done your own legacy game that I really enjoyed. What about the roll and write version?
Yeah, as you say, My City is my attempt to open the door of the usually quite complex legacy games to a wider audience, and to offer them something which is easy to access, where everybody is involved all the time, because everybody builds their own city, and where the single game only takes 20 minutes. So it's a very simple introduction, and then you play one game after another. Everything changes, as legacy games do. You glue things on the board, and more and more rules get softly introduced, so you get more and more challenging situations, but it flows very easy. There's never an attempt to, I need to read all these rules. So that's My City as the bigger board game. And I thought this is a big success. I think we can do a smaller game which gives people a similar experience, also on an easy level, not too long playing time. And I thought the roll and write mechanism is very suited, because I do not have to play on the same sheet all the time. Yeah? When we roll and write, roll and write means I roll and then I have a result and I get part of the result and I write it down on my sheet. That's roll and write. But I don't have to use all the same sheet. So I start with the first easy sheet. like a legacy game. And then once we played it, we go to the next sheet. And there are different challenges. And so you can tell a whole story or the whole development of the city over time, where the technology arrives, where new development in the city arrive, new challenges or new dangers arrive. So you have bad weather, you have floods, and suddenly something happens. And so that you can quite easily tell the story in a roll and write, where you have more than one sheet to write on. Yes, and that's how the story gets told, like the original My City tells the whole story of the city. So that does My City roll and write as well.
Oh, well, this one sounds like it has more things going on. So very cool. Reiner, you have done legacy games, you have done cooperative games, you have done roll and write games lately. What is your next challenge?
Yes. This is always a very big question. The pandemic has kept us away from testing a lot. So I had, this is a downside, because developing games is also testing, and refining and fine-tuning. But there was also the opportunity to think deep about what are the next groundbreaking games. I'm aiming for groundbreaking games. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. And so at the moment, I'm in the phase that I believe I have some very strong designs. And now we are getting back to testing, and the first tests are very promising. So I think I have still got some good contributions. Maybe the best is still to come, you know. Good contributions where I think I have really new aspects where the games have not gone before, and we're going there. We just had a meeting before this one. Maybe you have seen the people leave, so don't tell who it was. And we have something completely new in the game, and we just discussed it. I saw. Well, they're there, so don't photograph them. They're there, actually hide them. But it's a new approach, a new concept. You haven't seen that in the games yet. And it makes me very proud, because the publisher is very enthusiastic, I'm very enthusiastic. And this is one of the examples, and this is what gives me really the kick. This is to find something new, to find something unexplored and give the people a wow. So I haven't really answered your question, because, of course, I cannot talk about unpublished specifics, but I'm very excited. And there is a lot of publishers also looking for these innovations, and with the cooperations going on, as you cooperate with other publishers, it will then very quickly find its way, the game, into if it's good, if it's not only I thinking it's good, but if the public thinks it's good, to find the many players who can enjoy it. And our motto is bringing enjoyment to the people, and that's the biggest award.
That's why we are we are here. Yes. Thank you, Reiner. For me, it's amazing to seeing you very excited with new ideas, with new challenges, because you are a very good author, and you could just, don't care about it, but you still want to create.
But what else should I do? That's the only thing I can.
You do it well. It's amazing. Thank you very much for everything, Reiner.
Thank you.
We will play those games next month. So I hope you will enjoy them, and thank you, Reiner, for everything. Have a nice one.
And thank you.
Adios.
And enjoy the game.